Good morning, YouTube. Sitting here going through YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, and everything else, and watching the Patel interviews and Shift, that little weasel Shift, which is related to the one of the richest families in the world. Do your research on that, and then you start looking at Democrats, like Clinton's and everybody else, and you start realizing they're all related in some way, shape, or form. You start realizing the money flow. See, they got this thing called waterfall finances in the family. If you're related to the family, you'll never be broke. Never. Because generational wealth within that family has a waterfall effect. It started off with the Rothschilds, Rockefeller, Bloombergs, and all them, and Columbia and Columbus or Columbia or whatever. Anyways, and you start looking at the old names, and you start realizing that these old names have never went away. They just have shifted their names a little bit, and now they're in Congress, they're in our government, they're around the world, in our governments around the world. See, our governments, in all governments around the world, you got all these different people that own the banking systems, they own the pharmaceutical systems, they own the petroleum, they own the car industries, the entertainment industries, the media industries. They own everything. You start doing your research and you start seeing how those families have went down. And the Jews, yes, I'm gonna pick on the Jews. I'm gonna sound like anti-Semitic. I'm not, which I really care less. But the evidence and the facts just are what they are. Have set up, the Rothschild Jews, these bank systems where they control and own your debts. When you sign on their line for a contract to that bank, you're actually signing into the World Bank system. And the World Bank system, well, like I said, is owned by these families. So you're signing a slave contract. Here it is. You go get a loan, and there it is. The credit system is so jacked up that for you to earn credit is next to impossible. I mean, you got to go get a credit card or whatever to build credit. Building credit is ridiculous. Paying cash for it is better. If you pay cash for it, you barter and trade, or you own it outright. They cannot say that you don't own it. Because if you have a debt, a loan, or whatever in that system, well, you own nothing and you're going to be happy with it. That's the ultimate goal for these people. See, they want America so far in debt. They want all Americans in debt. They want you in debt for your school loans. They want you in debt for your house, your cars, your little crap that you buy, your motorcycles and ATVs and all that. They want you in debt. Pay cash for it. Granted, does it take longer to get some of the stuff you want? Yeah. Sometimes all that glitters and looks like gold is not gold. It's a trap. See, Shift is he's a little weasel, man. If you sit and watch him in these interviews, he's talking to Patel and he's making up all these blatant lies. And he's trying to get Patel to trip up and admit something that's not true. So, actuality, Patel is catching him on it. Patel is smart. I like Patel. Shoot, I like everybody that Trump is getting in office right now so far. I mean, granted, do they have a sketchy, some of them have a sketchy checkered past? Maybe. I don't know. But they're smart. They're very smart, and they're figuring out the game that these people are playing. It's a smear campaign, and Nancy Pelosi actually said that. Pelosi actually related to all these people too. It it's all family. It's a family game. Government, banking systems, it's a family game. They're playing on the people. It's fraud. It's money laundering. It's whatever. All this human trafficking and sex trafficking and all that other stuff is all related too. Yeah. All of it. Man, they got their hands in everything. If there's a crime that has been committed, they've got their hand in it somehow. Soros, look at Soros. Smear campaign, a wrap up smear campaign. They're going to wrap you up and they're going to smear your name. They're going to make you look like a predator for children. They're going to do a lot of things. Anything to destroy you. But yet they have the shredding company outside the FBI building just the other day. And the shredding company right there on spot will shred documents. What are they shredding? What evidence are they shredding? See, that should be illegal because those are public documents. Those are public records. If they're shredding records, government, that's illegal because that's public records. And if they're destroying public records, that should be a federal crime, which it is a federal crime. Nancy Pelosi up there ripping those papers behind Donald Trump, that was a federal crime that she committed right on air. That's a federal crime. That's public records. And for you to destroy public records, period, they should be held accountable for that. For all these politicians and government people that are whining and complaining because Trump said you got to get back in the office, they need to be fired if they whine and complain. Gone, we'll get somebody else. There's a lot of college students that need jobs and want jobs. It's fine, we can educate them, we can train them. You know, I'd rather train somebody than have somebody whine and complain about coming back to work. Be honest with you. I'd rather them be trained into the job and know how to do the job right than somebody that's whining, complaining, and moaning about coming back to work. No, if Donald Trump says get back in the office, get back in the office. Do your job. It's that simple. Or go home. Quit. Go home. We don't want to pay for your whining and complaining. As far as law enforcement, if you don't know how to do your job, then go away. We don't want you. You don't know what laws are. You don't know what constitutional rights and freedoms are. You don't know what they are? Then get lost. We don't want you. I'm telling you, there's a lot better things we can spend our money on, our tax money on, than a lazy cop that's so fat that can't even chase down a suspect, or a politician that's eating $1,000 steak and eating at these fancy restaurants that cost them $10,000 a night or more, some of them more, or going on these vacations at our expense, the taxpayers' expense, that cost them $1 million and they don't even blink twice. It's ridiculous. You got all this stuff going on, and these people being interviewed, that being put into office, you know, RFK and everybody else. It's about time we get people in there that's actually not afraid to stand up and put the voices of the people first. Because if we don't have those people up there in Washington, D.C. that's not afraid to stand up to the swamp is just going to get bigger. Which has gotten way too big anyways. The swamp reaches around the world. It has all these hidden people in behind the shadows that we don't even know, per se. We do know a lot of their names, the different names. There is a list for that. I got the list of those names of the richest families in the world, or the bloodlines, I should say. They're bloodlines. But if you trace those bloodlines, the bloodline goes from here to there to there to there. And before you know it, you start realizing a lot of the Freemason, the Illuminatis, and the politicians, and the Catholic Church, and all them, they're all related. The Roman Catholics, Romans never went away. It's like slavery never went away. Imagine that. Everybody's whining and complaining about slavery for the black people, but they don't take into effect that there's been many, many, many cultures that have been enslaved besides blacks. But yet the blacks have this entitlement. Oh, I'm black. I can do what I want. Well, you had that one New York lady that went to Pakistan, and she was saying that they got to give her $2,000 a week, plus what, 20 acres of land and all this stuff. How do you get stoned without weed or drugs in Pakistan? I'll let you figure that one out. But this woman is over there playing games, and she's got that entitlement. They ain't gonna play with her very long. If she's over there in that property or that country, and she's demanding property, demanding this, demanding that, they don't respect women over there. Heck, they pick up big rocks and they deliver big rocks to them in a violent way. And I'm telling you, these people that go to foreign countries and think they're going to play the pranks and everything that they get away with here, they're going to find out these countries are getting tired of the American idiots coming over to their country. But we're getting tired of the Muslim Islam idiots coming to our countries and demanding that we go by Sharia law. So we're getting tired of all this bogus BS and our government allowing this to happen. Well, okay, we got what? Dearborn, Michigan, I think it is, that is pretty much transformed into Pakistan, basically. They were saying Dearborn, there's sections of Dearborn where it's all Arabic writing or whatever, and you can't even tell what you're reading. That shouldn't be allowed. If they're illegal, kick them out too. Everybody, all of them, get them out. Let's take America back. Let's take our country back away from these politicians that have allowed the system to develop where these rich people are trying to tell us how to live when they're sitting in an ivory tower and they probably got somebody to put their underwear on for them with talcum powder or powder and everything, all that. Oh, put on my underwear for me. Because they can't do it themselves because they're so freaking rich. They probably got people that are picking out their clothes on a daily basis. See, the problem is when you get rich to that point, nothing means anything to you anymore. Your family doesn't mean nothing to you. Your property, your cars, and all that, it doesn't mean a thing to you. The money doesn't mean nothing to you anymore. It all loses, you lose that sense of value. I was talking to a young man yesterday, and I was talking about this car. It's a 1980 Buick Regal, I think it was. Anyways, it's all original. Beautiful factory condition. Original rims, original everything. Beautiful. And he goes, yeah, you take that white top off of it and you start doing this. I said, as soon as you start modifying it, you're losing $20,000 in value. Because you take the originality of it away. Well, in America, they have taken our originality away. We are a republic. We are not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic. They have taken our originality of what we were and what we stood for, and they took it away from us. They started trying to customize it and transform it into what their utopian dreams are. They want their eugenics. They want all that stuff. They want this satanic, Luciferian, pedophile utopia where they can do anything they want and have no consequences. They could go out and they can get with any woman or guy or whatever, and they can transform their body into ridiculous. I've seen one woman look like she had surgery to look like a horse. She actually had surgery to look like a horse. Why? This is where the doctors that perform these surgeries need to be held accountable, because that is malpractice. That is mutilation of somebody's body when they have a mental health disease. That shouldn't be allowed. I'm telling you, there's so much going on that these doctors are getting away with just for the power of the greed. And they're allowing these people with mental health to mutilate children and do all this stuff. They need to be held accountable. It's all about that greed. In actuality, accountability needs to go flat across the board. If you're doing wrong, you need held accountable, period. They had a 16-year-old young man, and yes, he was a black man, that realized that he's never going to see freedom again because he unalived somebody. And he got charged with that. 16 years old, that's sad. Because that means that daddy wasn't in the house, probably, most likely. That means his mother raised him and allowed him to run the streets. Allowed him to run with these gangs, these little cowards that run around with their little switches and all that stuff. 16 years old and losing his whole life. His life is gone. Wow. That's pretty sad. But yet they don't want accountability because they try to tell us white people, hey, you got to stay out of the black people's business. But the black people's business is spilling over into the white communities. See, if it's in America, it affects Americans, period. There is no white and black in America. See, that's the funny thing about it. We're Americans. We're all Americans. Your neighborhood is trash and garbage and criminals and everything else. Well, that it spills over into our community, and guess what? We need you to clean up your community. We need to clean up our community too, because our community is garbage too, in a way. See, America needs to clean out the garbage, period. Start raising our kids right with the grace of God, the grace of Jesus Christ. Bring God back into our families. Stop listening to this satanic Luciferian rap music and this music system that is based on 4 chords. It's designed to brainwash you. It's designed to manipulate your brain. We need to get back to God. The evidence is right in front of you. You can find the evidence anywhere you want to find it. Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, everywhere. But yet, Shoops is so far liberal, but yet people are going to Shoops. And Red Note is so far propaganda from China that they're going to it. Because they're sheep. They're nothing but sheep. They're getting led. Wow. I'm telling you. This stuff is happening and we're watching it. We're watching Trump and all these people that are trying to put America back on track. They are deporting people. They are deporting the illegals that have committed crimes. And you know how many of them committed crimes? Oh yeah, illegal. Yeah, all of them. See, when you say all lives matter, people get pissed off. Because all lives do matter. But you need to come into this country right, and you participate in this country right, and become a citizen and support America. If you hate America, go back to, I don't care where you go. Go away. We don't want you. Go to Antarctica if you think it's such a utopia. I've heard people say that Antarctica actually, that behind the ice wall there in Antarctica, there's a utopia. There's a big wonderful land. Go find it. Go see if you can find it. Please do. Go find the ice wall. We don't want you. Go away. We're not paying for you to find the ice wall. We're not going to support you. Trump has killed all these different frivolous pork belly junk spending. He's cutting it left and right. These funds, these grants, these all this stuff that's just a waste of money. All this stuff is just getting cut off, which I think is a good thing because that means the American people ain't going to have to pay for so much of the BS and the garbage. Do you realize they just wrecked an $82.5 million jet the other day? It just look out of the sky, boom, $82 million right there gone. $82 million of taxpayers' money. Do I think the military needs the best equipment? Yes. But $82 million in one jet? Think about that. If we have 1,000 of those, 2,000 of those, start doing the math. Well, look up how much the stealth bombers cost. I'm telling you. You start seeing where our money's going. These different jet aircraft manufacturers have been ripping us off and overcharging for these military aircrafts for far too long. We've been getting ripped off as American people, period. China can bring their goods in with no tariff, not one. But we send our goods over there and we get tariffs. Same thing with Canada and everything else. No, it's about time we start putting tariffs on these countries. About time we start cutting these countries off and say no more money, period. It's about time we have people that have balls enough to stand up and to take our country back. We need the men and women that are law-abiding citizens to actually stand up and say, yes, I'm a militia member. I'm a constitutional militia member. I'm willing to stand up and defend this country if the military fails, the law enforcement fails. We are the backup. We are the bottom line. We are the next step. The law-abiding citizens. Taking our street backs from these people that are protesting for Palestine, for terrorists. We're taking our street backs. Come on, man. We need people to stand up and say, I am militia. Because the media has made it that the militia is a bad thing. It's not. That means we're united as a people. To be a militia member, you have to be united. United as one people. We, the people of the United States of America. That is the militia. The law-abiding people that love this country and will die for this country and defend this country, protect our children, protect our schools, and protect everything that we stand for. Protect our constitutional rights. Do the First Amendment audits. Do the constitutional audits. Stand up to law enforcement that doesn't know what constitutional rights are. Stand up to a government that doesn't even care about your constitutional rights. That's what the militia is. Those people that stand up. Those people that have a voice. There's so many of them on YouTube that are doing just that. They don't call themselves a militia, but they are. In a way, they are, because they're the ones that are waking people up to our freedom and our rights. That's the people we need. The ones that are not afraid to take on the government. The ones that are not afraid to take on our law enforcement. The ones that are not afraid to look at corruption and public records and say, hey, this is what it is, and call it out. The ones that are going to be in the press room that are actually YouTube podcasters, and they're going to be questioning our government on a daily basis in representation of the people, not the media. It's the people. Next News Network going to be there in that press room. A few others is going to be there in that press room. Support them on YouTube. Stand up with them. May God bless you, and let's pray for this country, and we take this country back. Stand up and say, I am the media, or the militia, sorry, the militia. I am the constitutional militia that our Second Amendment talks about. I am the Second Amendment. Let's take it back. God bless.